Welcome to Rebel Radio, conversations with allied health leaders about the careers that shaped them, not the bio, the backstory. Today I'm here with Trystan Conway, a physiotherapist by background who's become one of Australia's leading voices on the business side of allied health and the NDIS. Trystan has co-founded and helped scale a national allied health provider to more than 300 clinicians and 8 figures in revenue, before stepping away and starting his own clinical services to advise practice owners across the country through Conway Consulting Group. He has since worked with more than 100 providers and deliberately no longer runs clinical services, so his advice stays independent. Trystan is also the co-host and owner of Allied Health Live and Unscripted with yours truly. Let's find out the backstory. Trystan, welcome to Rebel Radio.
Thanks for having me, mate. Good to be here.
You too, mate. How are you? You right?
Yeah,
I'm in your city as well.
Yeah, welcome to Melbourne. Welcome to Melbourne, best city in the world.
It's pretty good. I do love Melbourne. Melbourne's great. Mate, thank you so much for coming on to Rebel Radio. As we talked about before, this is all about your story and how you've got to where you are now. Obviously, you're such a big, I would call you kind of like an influencer, really. Like you're a big influencer in the market right now, where a lot of businesses come to you to find out, what you do and how you can help their business grow and be more successful and be moving the needle to the right way. So I'm really happy to have you on board. But I want to get right back to the start of, Trystan. We talk about allied health is so funny, right? And what Rebel Radio is about the backstory and your bio. So let's take it back, mate. Talk to me a bit about Trystan when you were younger, and what were you like as a kid?
Yeah, God, it's funny. I guess I've never shared a lot of this publicly before, but yeah, and it's funny. I've got a 3-year-old now, and they say you start to see, yourself in your kids, which is you see a mirror on yourself, which is a worry. So I guess how I was as a kid. My mum always says this. She says Conways are shit stirrers. So I was a shit stirrer and class clown type of guy. So I was always a smart kid. So I'm sure we'll get into it, but I got a academic scholarship in grade 5 to the high school I went to. Wow. So smart, but wanted to be sporty, class clown, cool kid, So very much not as academic as most clinicians are. Not a good student.
How did you? What's this? You got a scholarship at year 5?
Yeah. So went to a public primary school, and again I was I guess bored there, or it wasn't really sort of set up for I was good at maths and all that type of thing, So went and sat sort of the scholarship test they do for private schools, and was lucky enough to get in and get an academic scholarship. But then when I went to this school as a on a scholarship, I was very much a disappointment. I got threatened to be taken away a few times.
And was that when did that happen? When did they start threatening you to take the scholarship away? Was it consistently through school, or was it at a certain point?
Probably in year 7. I think again reflecting, and I have to reflect back on thinking this.
That's what this is really.
Yeah. It was it was again, I guess at a public primary school, and up to grade 4 I was the smart kid in class, and then when grade 5 went to this new school, I was like, okay, new identity, time to be I want to be the cool kid or the sporty kid, So just messing around, getting in trouble, harmless type of stuff, but just not really if you read a school report card on me. Actually, my mum shared me some the other day. She was moving and we had old report cards, and it's very bright and talented, but doesn't apply himself, and messes around too much in class and things. So that was me, and I'm still a bit like that, to be honest.
Yeah, nice. That's and I think that's so funny, right? Because you're going through school, and you've obviously got a scholarship. How was it with your family and your parents as well? Were growing up, having that situation where you got a scholarship, you're getting threatened by it. Were they concerned about you, or were they just kind of whatever?
No. I think so. Again, I'm lucky enough to have really good supportive parents, and my mum loved it. I would say she's a bit more like a free spirit sort of hippie vibe. So she didn't really care too much as long as we were happy. So again, a quote my mum used to always say was she didn't she didn't care what we did when we grew up, me and my brother, as long as we didn't become politicians. That was the one thing.
That's the one thing you don't want to do.
So again, she didn't really. A little bit. It was a bit sad that again I was mucking around and getting in trouble, and I even remember there was you do extracurricular things for smart kids and that type of thing. I didn't want to do them. I want to play footy with my mates,
Yeah.
whatever instead. So a little bit, but like I definitely don't have as much pressure as I feel like a lot of people would with like,
Yeah, for sure.
got to grow up to be a doctor or whatever. It was whatever you want to do as long as you're happy. Don't really care.
At that age when you were like in high school, kind of like, before you're heading towards university, was physiotherapy, because that's what, you studied as well. Where was that kind of, were you passionate about physiotherapy? Was that an idea like, I'm going to get into physio? What was your situation then?
Not at all. So yeah, basically, again, I didn't know what I wanted to do, as a lot of teenagers don't. And I guess what I started in was fresh out of high school, and what I thought I would do is, I've always been like, always loved like tech. I've always been super tech savvy. So I was like, I'll just work in IT, or, something I always loved, video games, computers, all that type of thing. So physio wasn't even on the radar, to be honest. It was, and that's kind of why I didn't really try that much in year 12 and that type of thing. Was like, I can get into the course I want to without having to study and apply myself. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like I didn't get the ATAR score to get into physio, had to go the long way around, that type of thing, because at that point it wasn't really on my radar. I was like, I'll go work in tech or coding or IT or something. I kind of wish I stuck with it.
Is that what you're trying to study for then? Is that right?
Yeah. So fresh out of high school, I went into like software engineering.
Yeah.
Computer science is what I studied. And again, I knew I didn't have to try in year 12 and study to get the ATAR to get into it. So that's why, spent year 12, I got suspended in year 12 and that type of thing. And didn't study very much because, I thought I'll do this and see where it goes. One of my best mates, one of my good mates was going to go into it as well. So started, did a year of, didn't finish, did a semester of software engineering and gave it up in the...
Why's that? Why'd you give it up? What happened, like, from being passionate to tech to going for one semester, going, this ain't it?
Again, back then, being like a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, I was more interested in like drinking beers, playing sport, hanging with my mates rather than working in like a coding lab, for example. So again, I have a lot of regrets about it now. I would have made way more money if I was in tech than healthcare. But that's part of the origin story of why I got into physio. Was I was again 19 years old, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Again, just wanted to hang with my mates, play sport, that type of thing. And I was sitting at Melbourne Uni. I think it was overlooking Union Square. I was sitting in a computer lab, and again, I'm pretty nerdy and geeky, but like these guys, the people in my like coding lab were like proper geeks. And I was like, again, I was 19. I'm like, I'm too cool for this. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And I remember it was a beautiful day outside, super sunny, and there's this little sort of courtyard out there, and lovely green grass, and people are running around, picnics, kicking the footy, whatever it may be. I was like, I don't want to sit in a coding lab for the rest of my life. I don't want to sit at a computer. I want a job where I can runners to work. So I was like, okay, I'm going to become a physio. And that was the switching point for me. Basically I want to be a sports physio, as most do.
Yeah, that's amazing. So then you pivoted. So then you had to go through another way of like studying for that. How does that work? Because I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. I'm sure people don't as well. Explain that a bit.
Yeah, correct. So I didn't get the ATAR or enter score it was back then to like go straight into physio, because again, I didn't try in year 12. I was just I remember funny I did like specialist maths. I was always good at maths, and on the morning of specialist maths, didn't study at all for the exam. I was playing like FIFA with one of my mates, and like, shit, we got to go to the exam. So didn't get a good enough ATAR to get in, so had to go the long way around. So. And again, I was like, I love sports. I want to wear runners to work. I want an active job. I'll go do sports physio. So, basically I took a year off to not really do much. And then...
What did you do?
My year off, not too much. I think I was working at Macca's, and like it was nice to have a year off just to like,
refresh yourself in a way.
Well, you go straight into, I said a lot with like new grads I used to employ. You go from like high school, high achiever, straight into 4 years of speech, OT, physio, whatever. And then you're like so young, and like you got 40 years of full-time work ahead of you. So I just took a year off to like, again, I guess I wasn't super motivated or just like, but I was just like, living at home, working at Macca's, like just figuring out what I want to do in life.
Playing FIFA?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It was good though. It was, gap years are a good thing. But then had to like go the long way around to, if I wanted to get into physio, I was like, okay, I need to go the long way around. So I, got into Bachelor of Health Science at La Trobe Uni, and had to, actually get good enough grades and marks to then transition into like a Master Physio.
Yeah.
So probably the first time I was like, where I actually like did a bit of study and things. So I was like, I need to get a good enough, get 80% or whatever to all my subjects, so then I can transition into the Master Physio program.
Why was the Master Physio program like important for you?
Just because I thought it'd be like, I think back then, I think a lot of people have this now, that like, I thought physio was like, I don't know, pretty good career, or like you could earn good cash, or like, again, I was like, well, I love sport.
Yeah.
I want to wear runners to work. Seems like I want to go work for the Melbourne Footy Club, the Australian cricket team. So that's why I thought I'd get into it. And again, I think
the higher the degree, the better like opportunities you'd get, you thought?
Yeah, like just, I don't know, it just seemed like a decent career working in health, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah, wow, it's amazing. Do you, reflecting on it now, do you think the gap year was pivotal in a lot of ways?
Yeah, totally. I think, and I see it a lot too with success of like new grads, for example. Like if you had a 22-year-old new grad who has never had a part-time job, still lives with their parents, that type of thing, versus like, let's say a 25 or 26-year-old who's like lived life a little, moved out of home, had part-time jobs. Yeah. So much better, because I always say the hardest part of like succeeding as an early career clinician is like all the non-clinical stuff. So even as an example, I loved new grads who had like hospitality or retail experience, because if you can work at Boost Juice or Kmart or at a pub or whatever, clinical work's easy. You got the customer service down pat. Like being a clinician's way easier than
it's interesting, isn't
it? Selling clothes, or like dealing with angry customers and things. So I think I kind of took two. I took that one almost that gap year, just trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do, how I was going to become a physio and things. And then also whilst I was doing my undergrad, I did a gap year where I did 6-month exchange at the University of Florida.
Right.
And then 6 months traveling around Europe. So
wow, okay.
Same thing. Took me a while. Like God knows how many years I spent at uni, which for a bad student, like spent a lot of time studying.
How many years was it overall?
So 1 year at Melbourne Uni doing Bachelor of Science. My Bachelor of Health Science took me 4 years.
Yeah.
Then, because I took the gap year in between. Then 2 years doing Master Physio. Then I also spent 2 years part-time doing I was going to do a Master of Gerontology, but I didn't finish. So I did a graduate diploma of Gerontology. So
And what's gerontology? What's that? I don't know.
Old people, basically. So again, that's kind of my whole, I'm sure we'll talk about, but I wanted to be a sports physio, pivoted into aged care. And whilst I was working in aged care, I wanted to, I want part of my like vision was to be like the most overqualified aged care physio in Australia, and do this Master of Gerontology, make a difference, that type of thing. Kind of gave up on that. But
when did that idea come? Because like you would have been, were you working and then studied again, or did you, how did that come about? Yeah,
so basically, again, going through uni again, I was like, I want to be a sports physio, private practice, that's the traditional thing that's done. But then kind of figured out that one, it's not as glamorous as it's made out to be. So like I did a private practice placement. I was like, again, it just wasn't for me. I was like, this is, I don't know. Yeah, it just wasn't for me, private practice.
Because there's going to be, the reason why I ask is because there's so many people who do physio and they want to work in that, like they see the same vision, right? Australian cricket team, they see the AFL teams as well, whatever it is that they're interested in. And then they go into like Musk, and there's a completely different, or like when I say Musk, MSK, private practice physio. And it's a different world to what they kind of thought it would be. Talk a bit about that and how from the prac placement that you had, then you realised aged care might be.
Yeah. Well, one, I just wasn't that passionate about it, to be honest. Like again, it just wasn't like, again, I always say I was a pretty crap clinician. So I wasn't really that into it, I guess. And I don't know, I just wasn't that passionate about, there's so many amazing clinicians out there, not just physios, but of all sorts, who are really passionate about particular areas of practice or like their profession, where I just wasn't really. I liked it. I love being a physio. I still am qualified. But just the churn and burn nature of it too, like the grind of private practice and like particularly physios, how manual it is. I just didn't really, for how hard you work and how much you get paid, it didn't really seem that I didn't really seem that appealing to me. And again, it's phenomenal career progression for where most physios go, lots of clinicians, that type of thing, but just
not for you.
Wasn't for me. So again, and part of why I went into aged care, a couple of reasons. One was, so whilst I was studying, I was thinking about this the other day, I probably had like 10 different part-time jobs over the years whilst I was studying, and one of them, where I actually met my wife, funnily enough, was at the Watsonia RSL, where I was basically pouring beers, working in gaming, and then like driving the Kersey bus for the oldies.
Yeah, okay.
I just love chatting to the oldies. So I was like, why don't I go work in aged care? Because again, what I was really good at the rapport building, having a yarn, having a gas bag, to older people. It was fun. And back then too, it's funny now, it's a little bit more appeal into aged care, but back then, like, no one wanted to work in aged care. So essentially I could work in a sector that no one wanted to work in. You get paid more because no one wanted to do it, and you didn't work as hard. So I was like, this seems great. And then also, again, I'm sure I'll talk about my career journey and so on, but there's more opportunities for growth. Whereas in sort of private practice, I'm sort of critical and understand why it's this way of like the career journey. And let's say physio private practice is pretty bad. There's kind of same thing with allied health. There's like so many scattered small businesses that for a lot of people, the career progression is just work in a clinic or open your own. And there's not really many steps in between. Whereas
you are right. Yeah.
Definitely. Sort of what was a national aged care company, there's sort of more opportunities. And again, I was a pretty crap clinician, but I've always been good at the non-clinical stuff. So there was ways where I could use those other skills in aged care as well, which I didn't know at the time, but it suited me much better.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess you could call yourself like a mature age student in some ways, right?
I was.
So how was the pracs? What was that like? Because I mean, like, you've already kind of touched on the prac of private practice. You already then started realizing you were working with, like, I guess, oldies in a way from the RSL. Did you what were the other pracs? Did you do pracs in aged care as well?
No, I didn't. So again, I have to think about this a long time ago. A few hospital ones which were good. Probably one of my favorite ones, funnily enough, was like, it was still like public health, but it was like a community sort of placement. So again, a bit of home visits, a gym, that type of thing. I probably liked that the most. I enjoyed, like, I would have preferred to be like a hospital physio, let's say, than private practice, I think, because it was cool working in, hospital wards and so on. But even, again, back then, I think it's a bit different now perhaps, but like, it was so hard to get in, and like, you had to be like the best of the best went into hospitals. It was super, again, really hard to crack in, and then like pretty crap pay and so on. It was good. But again, I guess I was pretty good at placements. Again, all the theory and stuff, again, bit boring for me. And this was before AI, to manually write essays and stuff.
So the places, you enjoy the places probably more than the actual, I guess, studying.
Yeah, cool. Parts. And that's what I liked about physio as well. It was like so hands-on, practical, all that type of thing.
Were there any parts at uni as well that you thought to yourself, maybe this ain't right for me, maybe I made a mistake, or maybe I'm just not going to be cut out for this?
Not really. Again, I was pretty happy doing physio, because again, I think the good thing about kind of any healthcare degree, I don't know whether I necessarily thought this at the time, but there's so many ways you can take it. Yeah. As long as you get your qualification, you go in loads of different directions, like, run a business, consultant, whatever. You can do loads of different things. So not really. Again, I was pretty happy. Again, I was also like, I actually need to get a job now. Like, I think I was
Do you think
25 or something. I can't remember what age, but I was like, I need to actually start doing some work and stuff. So
Do you reckon that's, and I was going to say, do you reckon that's because you've had that experience of like studying something you weren't passionate about, and then going into physio as well, help that reminder of like, actually, this is probably going to be all right for me?
Yeah, totally. I used to always ask, that's like a tip for recruiting. When I was talking to new grads and even like early career clinicians, I'd always ask, why did you become a speechy? Why did you become a physio? Why did you become an OT? And depending on the answer, you could tell how like good they were going to be, because some people be honest. I'm like, why did you become a speechy or an OT, or a physio? Like, I didn't get into medicine, so here I am.
Yeah.
So whereas if you, for example, one of my best ever employees' speeches I've ever had was, why she did it was she had a cleft lip, and so she'd sort of had speech or cleft palate, whatever it's called. She had always, so she'd had speech therapy her whole life, ultra passionate about it, and she's going to be a superstar because she
absolutely, I know what you mean.
she's got a passion behind it and a reason, that type of thing. And same thing with people telling, I want to be an OT because when my grandparents had a stroke and I saw the OT come in and all that type of thing. So when people have, or again, usually generally mature ages, quote unquote, are better too because they've actually made like a conscious decision to go into that. There's a reason for it. So
completely agree. I mean, I do recruitment obviously, and then I see it all the time when you get those mature age, or even when you get people who are like, I always ask the question like, why did you get into it? I'm very curious about that as well. Because, and that's why Rob Barrett is great because you get to like speak to people who are at the end of it, of like running a business as well. But yeah, finding out why people have done it at the starting point, you can tell straight away their passion and also the skill sets. They're in it for the reasons, and it helps them as well. So yeah, it's interesting. What was getting your first job like? How did you become a new grad physio? Tell us about that.
Yeah, again, bit different as well because I was like, I have to think, So again, I wanted to try aged care because I was like, I'll try something a bit different.
Yeah.
And this job, and the other thing that's different. So I'm a city boy. Mm-hmm. I'm from Melbourne, but my wife, she's from the country. And again, I would say to her, and she disagrees, and I say this all the time, that I'm a country boy at heart. She laughs
she disagrees?
at me. Yeah, she disagrees. But anyway, so fresh out of uni, I was like, why don't I try go working in the country? So my first job as a new grad was 3 hours west of Melbourne in a town called Stawell at a regional aged care facility. And why I liked it was, I think I think the salary was like 65K back then as a new grad 10 years ago or so, but it was free rent. I was like, this is the best thing ever because it was in a regional area. I was like, I don't have to pay rent, that type of thing. This sounds amazing. So it might have been like 85K total package. So I think.
Did you know that you were always going to relocate? Or was that like always part of the plan? Or how did that come about? What was the thinking?
Just something different again. And it's kind of, journey. I was always willing to move and try new things and be open to opportunities and be curious and so on. So I don't know, just to give it a try. And I was like, why not? Doesn't have to be forever. I'll go regional as a new grad, more opportunities, higher salary, that type of thing, good package. So just thought I'd give country living a go.
Was there any influences around that, or was it just all you thinking it?
I guess chatting to girlfriend back then, but why not? It's like lived in Melbourne my whole life. Obviously travelled a bit and all sorts of things. So it was just give country life a go.
How was it? What was it like?
It was fun. It was different. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad I did it. Could never go back. But it was a good experience. Like, and it gave me a false opinion of this was residential aged care back then, which probably a lot of people listening to this or no one ever cares or gives a shit about residential aged care. But I was like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty good because in this aged care facility, as I was a new grad for a year, all the residents there, the people, the care staff, the managers who were looking after them, they were all community members. They were looking after someone who had been their neighbour or school teacher or a family friend, that type of thing. So it was just it was so nice because everyone cared so much.
Yeah.
And then as I progressed my career and started working, metro residential aged care facilities, I was like, oh, these places aren't that nice. Yeah. They're grim.
Yeah, wow. That's so fascinating, isn't it? So it gave you just a whole different perspective of what you gave you a false, like you said.
Yeah, and again, made me appreciate it. Even now, again, I always say I still have a real again, I'm a city boy, but I still have a real passion for any healthcare, anyone working regionally because it's so hard. But not that people in the city or metro don't care, but it can be a bit more transactional here. Whereas people again, clinicians, nurses, aged facilities, GP, whatever, it's just different regionally because there's so much. There's less services available. So huge respect, and I still try to do it now as a consultant. I really want to help any, I guess the more vulnerable someone is, the better. And particularly regional areas are underserviced and
definitely
lower socioeconomic, all that type of thing.
Yeah, no, I hear that. It makes a lot of sense. How long were you there for? How long was the tenure?
So I spent a year there, and again, I was fine physio, but I was just there by myself, solo, essentially.
Right.
I was there for this company. I was I was the only Victorian employee. So
Wow.
I call myself state manager because it's just me.
Yeah.
Um,
You call yourself state manager.
Yeah, but then I guess I got bored quite quickly, and that's kind of my
Yeah.
thing is, and I really liked the sort of the non-clinical side of things. It was called ACFI back then. I liked the funding and management, that type of thing. And I kind of outgrown that role. And this company I was working for, there's no other roles in Melbourne for me to go to, and I was wanted a promotion and that type of thing. So then I to get a promotion and become like a site leader within my, I think it was at the end of my new grad year at the start, I had to move to the Northern Beaches in Sydney. There was a role available. So applied for it, and he was willing to take a risk. And with Ange, my lovely girlfriend at the time, and our 2 dogs, I think back then, moved to Sydney to become a site leader of a.
That's amazing.
Probably a site about maybe 500 beds or something like that.
So first year in as a therapist, and becoming a site leader.
Correct. And I remember in that new grad year too, I applied for an area manager role. As a new grad, I was like, why not? Area manager role came up.
Within the company?
Within the company, and I didn't get it, obviously, because I was a new grad. But then I got that same job maybe like within my second year out of uni, I think it was. So I applied for it, didn't get it, but then the person who got it left for whatever reason. So then, moved up to, the Northern Beaches in Sydney.
Yeah.
And then this area manager role opened up down in Illawarra region in Wollongong. And because I'd applied for it 6 months ago, got it. I think it was my second year out of uni, and then moved again down to the Gong.
So Northern Beaches, then to Wollongong. Yeah.
Northern Beaches to Wollongong. So again, it's kind of my whole thing. Not many people would do that. Would move their life to further their career.
Why did you?
Ambitious, I guess.
Yeah.
And
was it for the career as well, or was it for experience? Because obviously you had a partner and 2 dogs as well. Which, let's be real, anyone that's watching who has dogs as well, it's just as important as having kids at the time. So what was it like? I guess like conversations within the from a personal perspective as well, like because moving with that, it's not like you're not like a bachelor moving around as a single person. You got like other responsibilities, and how did your partner as well get work in those places too?
Very supportive partner, thankfully. Yeah. So, and she's a bookkeeper, so can sort of do it remotely. I think she was, I can't remember if she was bookkeeping or studying back then, but also we met working at RSL, so hospitality experience, that type of thing. So she was thankfully reminds me about it a lot. Very supportive of my career and all that type of thing, and willing to sacrifice herself as well. So it was just I was willing to sacrifice and take a risk to further my career, and it was like more fun, I guess. Again, I always had ambitions or like managing people, all that type of thing. Want to get the tools, again, not a good physio, good leader, good managing people.
You said that. I think you said like 4 or 5 times. You're a crap physio. What do you mean? Talk to me about that, because
Well, again, I just wasn't that passionate about like 10 different ways to diagnose a need, traditional physio stuff. Wasn't really that passionate about. Again, I was good at building rapport, good at placebo. And again, I loved working clinically in aged care. But again, it's kind of my whole thing was like, again, let's say I was physio working in aged care. I really enjoyed it. I loved helping the oldies. And I could help 10 people a day, let's say. I could treat them, whatever. Whereas my whole thing was then, I was okay physio again in that low complexity setting. But then I was like, well, if I manage a team of 10 physios who are all helping 10 people a day, if I'm a good leader, I set them up for success, I'm now indirectly helping 100 people a day, that type of thing. So I think my skills were much better. I'm much better at the non-clinical stuff, leadership, operations, systems, all that type of thing.
I got probably 2 questions about this one. One, you said that you started off as a physio with no other people around you as well. So you're the sole physio. And then 2, so the question is, were you like insecure about your skills of being a physio? And if you also feel like if you were with a bunch of like a new grad physio cohort right now, or like, first, would that have been a bad thing for you as well from a clinical perspective? Like, do you think you'd be kind of like comparing yourself to other physios and they're doing their work? And I'm just quite curious to the fact that, because your first role, you've always said that you're better as a leader and better in the non-clinical stuff, and you think that helped by not being with any other physios in your first job? Well,
I think, again, residential aged care is very different to, again, probably what I'm sure a lot of people listeners have never worked in there, because, again, no one gives a shit about it. But
it's not complex, is it?
Non-complex. So, again, the physio skills were pretty basic, like so that was never really an issue. Like, and again, there was support and things available and blah, 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 and a team and group chats and whatever. But like, yeah, again, and it's a common in residential aged care that like, typically for bigger businesses, you just like rock up and good luck, figure it out yourself. So again, I do think, well, again, I was unique, and I always say this, I've initiative plus. Initiative isn't always that common in employees. Like, I'm totally fine, but like I will just problem solve, and which is why I like consulting. I'll just problem solve and figure things out myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the other thing too is, and maybe this is a hot take, is that I feel like sometimes now we skew too far in the direction of like we hold new grads' hands too much. You can sort of like over support people sometimes, and almost like in terms of like, I never had it, but like in terms of imposter syndrome and that type of thing, leaders and supervisors and that type of thing can kind of like perpetuate it as well. Like even, I don't know, you see things on Facebook groups or whatever where like sometimes people are like, clinicians are kind of coming out of uni and things like thinking they don't know anything and they're not very good, or they're super scared, or they're not going to have jobs and things. So yeah,
It's interesting.
maybe. But yeah, I still had, again, and it's kind of like, yeah, I still had a team and things. I was just like by myself. And again, there was, you know, one of the good things about, I think it was common in residential aged care, you might be a physio on site by yourself, but there's nurses and care staff, and you kind of have your team there. You're just like the only physio, the only clinician.
Fascinating. Yeah, no, it's actually really interesting. And you are right. Your stories are quite unique in that space, right? Like,
Very unique.
There's not many new grads going off on site by themselves and like, you know, doing what they're doing.
It was in aged care, it was very common in residential aged care back in the ACFI days.
What year was this? Like what year?
Oh, shit.
You're not that old.
10 years ago. I can't remember what year. I should know what year.
2015?
Maybe 2015, maybe 2014. 2015, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or 2016. I have to check my LinkedIn. I don't know. Can't remember.
So you're in Illawarra, is that right? Or Wollongong, the same place, right?
Illawarra is the region.
Illawarra's
Wollongong
region,
is like the main town. But yeah,
So you're stationed in Wollongong?
I lived in Shellcove, but like I looked after Illawarra region. So maybe like
Okay.
12 aged care facilities, probably 20 clinicians or so. I don't know. But yeah, sort of spread across the Southern Highlands, Illawarra, South Coast.
And so how long were you there for?
Couple years, I think.
And you were running the team, 20 clinicians as well?
Pretty much. So I looked after the whole region. So I think there was like, maybe me and a couple other area managers, that type of thing. Yeah. And just looking after running the show.
What's next? What happened after?
Yeah. So then in terms of, that was when I co-founded my previous business, I guess. So basically, had the opportunity to, this was sort of, I guess this is 2018, 2019, and NDIS was starting to boom. So founder of that business approached me and said, hey, I'm looking for, I need someone, I want to open this business. Do you want to open it with me?
Okay.
I said, sure, sounds good.
How did they come to you? How did they reach out?
I was my boss. So like,
so it was your boss. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so still same group, that type of thing. And basically said, look, it was non-clinical, so I need a clinician to partner with. Let's open this business together.
Right, okay.
And I was like, well, I don't know anything about NDIS, but I can do some research. So basically 2019, did some research, started a company, got our NDIS registration. And then what really set us up for success was we brought on my business partner, Rose Nasser, who she was non-clinical, but she had a background in like support coordination, had been part of the rollout sites in Newcastle, had done like a meals NDIS business as well. So her and I essentially started this business together where I was the clinical guy. She was like non-clinical business development, admin, that type of thing. And 2019 registration, 2020 launch, and went for scale and quantity over quality from day one.
So 2020 launch, COVID as well. When was the time? When did you guys actually start it? When did COVID because I think COVID was like what, March? Maybe not later.
Yeah.
Mid-year.
So I think our first ever client was December 2019. I think December 2019 we maybe did like 4 billable hours or something. And again, I had no idea what we're doing. And 2020 again. What I've realized, again, I call it the confetti approach. So we went pure scale and volume from day one. Yeah. So again, we were like hyper ambitious, and I'm realizing now that it's not that common, but, and it caused me made a lot of mistakes being too ambitious and things. But basically confetti approach. I'm like, we're going to do 10 different disciplines. Well, I think it was 9 back then, or maybe even started with less and added more as we went. But basically let's do everything everywhere and see how it goes. And basically what our point of difference was we were really good at recruitment, funnily enough. So what we used to do is we used to get referrals and leads, and then we'd recruit to fill them. So that was how we started. We pivoted over the years, but basically we just advertised. Rose and I went to like every networking event across Australia, all the Ready Set Connects, and we'd have like the phone would ring, and I remember our poor intake officer, our first one, Hannah, the phone would ring, and there's a table tennis table in the office. There's table tennis in the background, and the phone would ring and be like, "Hello, do you have a podiatrist in Perth?" And Hannah would look at us, be like, "Yes, we do," and hang up the phone and essentially lie. And then we would hustle and recruit the podiatrist to fill that referral. So we were basically, again, that was our whole thing, is get the referrals, then recruit so quickly that we could fill them. So we, I think at our peak, had like 6 recruiters working for us. And we would get referrals in, recruit to fill. So it was all casuals and contractors at the start. And just, that's how it started, I guess. Just
wow, that's incredible. That's insane. So far out. When it comes, so when did it did you ever get scared of COVID then? Because obviously starting at that time of year, I remember the world then, it was like, wow, we're going to be in lockdown. And we were in Victoria as well at this time? Or
I was in Sydney at this time. Okay. So I moved back to Melbourne in COVID, but it was like a windfall, an opportunity for us. Because again, I remember, God love her, Rose, my old business partner, when she showed up in the office, into 2019, started 2020, she was like, we got to get a filing cabinet. we need to get, that's how she used to do it. We get plastic pockets, files, and all that type of thing. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so again, and back then,
how long did that last?
Not very long, but back then I was like, okay, let's get Clinico or something like that, and some spreadsheets, and off we go. But then clearly, again, we were scaling so fast. And back in 2020, there was like Sploce didn't exist, for example. There was no real practice management software for NDIS. So I was like, okay, Clinico we were doing like so much revenue. It doesn't do bulk uploads. I remember back in 2020, good times. Like I used to do the manual NDIS claiming myself. I'm sure people still do that now. But again, the volume we're at, that we were like weeks behind sometimes, because I was like, you're the cleaner, you're your accounts person, you're everything. And like I'd have to sit there and manually do these claims. So anyway, Clinico, we had to get rid of that. We went into like some support worker software, because that's all that existed that could operate at our scale of thousands of participants at that time. So anyway, to answer the question, basically because nothing existed, again, and me being a tech guy, I can't code, but I essentially started to like sort of digitally transform that business, where we started leveraging, Microsoft Teams and all that type of thing, which was newish back then. But I leveraged a platform called like Airtable, which is like a low code or no code platform, and just sort of built the whole back end of the business in this low code type platform. There's no AI back then, so there's lots of automation, Zapier, all that type of thing. So, and
did you learn that yourself, or you just just teaching yourself about it?
Self-taught. So YouTube, self-taught, learning, trial and error, that type of thing. But basically we were kind of already sort of gearing up for that a little bit, because again, we were like a pure mobile business at scale with staff all across Australia, contractors, eventually perms and that type of thing. But it's sort of like, because we were already pretty tech savvy and like ahead of the game and innovators, when COVID happened, it just like shot us up even further. So I think with COVID, a lot of businesses either like completely fell out, or like some, really took advantage of it. And we were able to like, it suited our model. We were already set up for it.
Man, that's amazing. That's such a cool story. So you're all doing it, so all remote work then? There's no offices, was there an office in Sydney?
Well, we had an office in Sydney, and head office in Sydney. So our admin team, we're always in the office. Obviously with COVID, we had to take a break, that type of thing. But even our admin strategy was, we had Rose, and then another manager under her, and we used to recruit like, that was kind of one of our points of difference, was like phenomenal admin supports. Where we would have, basically I ran the clinical side ultra lean, like super flat structure for as long as possible. Like I think we maybe got to like 5 mil revenue before we hired my first team leader or something, where it was just me running everything before then.
5 mil revenue, and then you eventually got a team leader.
Yeah, but I was also fully off the tools. But super flat structure,
But still, it's a lot of like revenue to come in. Like how many people were working under you as you were a team leader? How many people did you have before you got the first one?
Yeah, I guess like probably 100 or something. Like again,
Far
but
out.
there was good structures and things, and again, a lot of contractors and so on, and good systems. And my whole thing was like invest in admin to let the clinicians do their job, bill basically.
How
Like,
many admin people did you have per clinician, do you think?
Good question. It's hard to say because there was
Yeah,
a
of
mix
course.
of
Yeah.
perms and contractors and casuals
Yeah,
and so
yeah, for
on.
sure.
But yeah,
Just roughly, I guess.
we went heavier on admin. So again, at one stage we had like probably like 10 in the admin, team of 15 admin people, low.
Okay.
Because again, the whole thing. So the business I came from, the residential aged care business, I remember like there was so much middle management, and I sort of came from that, and like there were like clinicians getting paid really good salaries doing admin jobs. So then with my business, I went the opposite direction. I'm like, no, I don't want to pay clinicians expensive salaries to do things that admin could be doing. So we went heavy admin, lean clinical team. We eventually got it. We had good structures and all that type of thing. But yeah, lots of admin support. And we would also, in terms of our admin stuff, we're pretty particular with who we hired.
Yeah.
So we hired either pretty young admin who were either allied health students or had been like support workers or something. So they kind of had that. Our whole thing was like, if they had the empathy and like, I guess the soft skills, we can teach them the admin stuff. We had good structures and processes and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, over-index, like really great admin support was one of our sort of, we'll make your job as easy as possible in terms of billable hours, KPIs.
Yeah.
Walk in the park. You don't need to really do much outside of them. You got all the referrals. We'll do all your admin for you. Just all you need to do is just bill and finish early. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
It was an innovative model back then. It's still, I don't really see many people do it that well, even now, to be honest.
Does the model still stand today?
Yeah, 100%. So I would have, that model, and again, I was hyper ambitious and got me in trouble sometimes. Again, I still see it now as this like revenue plus, grow at all costs, that type of thing. I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Again, it's
different though, right? It's different.
One of my flaws has been too competitive. But my model and things were set up. Well, I could have done it for 1,000 clinicians, 10,000 clinicians, because the structures were in place. So yeah, it was built to scale from
day one.
From day one. And again, I put out articles and polls and that type of thing. As an example, my team leaders, my OT speech team leaders, it was set up where they could be a 20-to-1 ratio. So one team leader could look after 20 clinicians.
And you have talked about that as well previously on,
Yeah, but it was easy because they had specific jobs and things to focus on. And, the team leaders, they weren't doing supervision. They were supervised for that. They weren't doing admin and, triage and all sorts of things. It was sort of all taken care of. So hopefully everyone's life and job was as easy as possible.
Yeah. No, great. I mean, I was going to ask a question because, like, you sound so, and you are very unique in this because, like, there's not many, your story is unique. And even, like, starting a business to grow and scale that quick and that fast and that big is unique in itself. But were there any times that you started to, like, not trust your judgment, or were you kind of like, because this is like, it's not like there's too many people, especially when it's that time of year, the time of, COVID time. There's not many other businesses that you can kind of replicate as well.
Well, yeah, you're right. So that I did. So basically, and again, part of the origin story of me starting Conway Consulting Group is I kind of wish I had someone like me, because that's the kind of thing Rose and I was lucky enough to have Rose to bounce lots of ideas off. And we'd often, again, I probably should have been more open to it, taking advice and not being too proud and all that type of thing. But
do you regret that now?
Pardon?
Do you regret that now?
Somewhat, but then also kind of the thing was like, well, who do I talk to? Because like the only other people I got to speak to was like our competitors, like Better Rehab or Everyday Independence or that type of thing. I was like, well, and again, I kind of realize now probably, there's a lot of similarities between other service industries and we probably could have got more help and that type of thing. But yeah, I think probably tricky decisions were like, well, hiring is always tricky. So again, back in the day, early 2021, let's say, we used to call it like reverse marketing, where you'd hire an OT, you'd fill up their caseload within, straight away. There was so much demand, capacity, blah, blah, it was super easy. Whereas then, let's say 2024, later on, or even now, like you can't fill someone's caseload from scratch. It's too hard. So hiring was always tricky. And then what I always found difficult, and I'm better at it now, and I help clients with it, was like, how much do you like diversify? So we were probably like 70% NDIS, maybe 20% aged care, and a few other things as well. But it's always like, how much do you like, diversify and chase shiny new objects? That's maybe another thing, versus looking after core business, that type of thing. And actually, probably one of the big regrets I have is that, again, I'm a tech guy and I like chasing shiny new objects. So I think I tried. What I loved about the early stage was like, you go crazy with innovation and all that type of thing. But then as we got bigger, it's hard to make changes and so on. So I probably had, upon reflection, I probably had like a couple too many logins for staff and that type of thing. I should have just like chilled out a bit, because I'm a tech guy when everyone else is. So
yeah, true. Yeah.
And I help a lot of clients with that now. Let's say if it's around tech and platforms, it's I'm usually, the vast majority of people I speak to is like, let's cut out subscriptions and platforms. Let's maximize what you got. Probably wish I did that a little bit more.
So let's kind of get into like the middle years of AHP, which is where you were working, and running the show. So 2020 started. Let's talk about 2023 or 2022, 2023. You've been there for a few years now. What's the business looking like? I mean, I know that big part of your story is like you scaled the business to like 300 clinicians, and was it 8 figures? Was it?
About 15 mil was like our peak or average,
which is
or whatever.
Massive, right? So like when talk about like that high point of the business and how it was like running.
Yeah, I think and again, that's kind of the whole thing. It's pretty easy back then. So we had to evolve and adapt, where like 2021, 2022, 2023, I guess. Well, let's say 2021, 2023 was easy, and like kind of like the rate was so high, 193.99 for everything, full travel, infinite demand, infinite supply. So it was, it was the gap was like, again, I say this, we were very much like quantity over quality at that stage. It was just like anyone, anywhere, any OT with a pulse, that type of thing. Just get out there, do some work, like build whatever you want. It was just like, it was crazy. It was like the gold was like a gold rush basically.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, we used to get 100 referrals a week basically. That was like our KPI for. I say this to.
Can you imagine now?
100 referrals a week, yeah, it was good. But again, it was very much, we were just like, it was churn and burn, just like new referrals. There was just so much demand where we didn't focus on like optimization or retention and that type of thing as much.
Right.
So yeah, we used to, again, it was good fun. So we had like Rose, BD, we had like a couple BDOs at the time, that type of thing. And yeah, 100 referrals a week was what we aimed for. We'd get that every single week and just sort of keep growing and growing from there. I remember, I think it was, 2023, for some reason, I think some other big providers experienced this too. Referrals just dropped off a cliff. Didn't change anything. And we went from 100 referrals a week to 50, let's say, for no reason. So we'd kind of projected and hired based on what we used to get. And 2023 had this huge like new grad cohort and that type of thing, and loads of staff, and like essentially had to go through like a round of redundancies because we had too many staff, the amount of referrals we were getting. So had to do that a couple times, redundancies and so on, which is bloody hard. And so it wasn't always smooth sailing. And again, that's the tricky part, is like being like, too ambitious and wanting to scale too much and like, okay, let's go from 15 to 50 and, all that type of thing. So yeah, I guess there were like, just like business is not always just like
for sure
happy days. And that's also, I sort of talk to clients about this now sometimes, that like the size or revenue, just because someone looks successful from the outside doesn't actually mean they're always like actually making more money than you. Like I have clients who talk to me about it now, they're like, I'm running this business, I'm working more and making less than when I was just sole trading, that type of thing. So we're still fine and profitable and all that type of thing. But there were some rocky periods in there in terms of just like, again, things outside your control. But like now, 2026, reform, thriving kids, travel cuts, whatever, can't really do anything about it. You just have to adapt to it.
Was that when it started, like 2023, and the amount of referrals dropping? Was that the start of, I guess, I wouldn't say it's a decline, but I guess like the start of you maybe things changing, I guess?
No, it was still growing. It's just we just had to make some hard decisions, and that was when we sort of pivoted from, again, at the stage it was just pure. Prior to that, it was just pure quantity, anyone and everyone, that type of thing. Whereas then we pivoted to more, which you have to be now, like much more of a quality focus, and like actually, which is good because we got we were more cautious with who we recruited, like a bit more selective, all that type of thing. So it was just yeah, it was just we had to pivot our strategy.
Like, 'cause it sounds like you're so like logical about all of this, right? But there's like, where's the emotional side of it as well?
Yeah.
Like, because like, how was this wearing on you as well?
Fine. Again, this is why I'm unique, and probably maybe I'll need therapy or something one day. But I'm ruthlessly pragmatic. Like
Yeah.
it's probably why I wanted to be an engineer and why I'm a good consultant, because like I can take the emotion out of things. Like, I can be very, very, very sometimes too practical about these
Because
things.
it sounds like it as well. Like, I mean, like when you think about making redundancies and like scaling to 8 figures and having 300 clinicians and all this type of stuff, like this is not like normal stuff. Like we're not talking about like every other business is doing the same thing here, you know. And then you're talking about it like it's just like, yeah, this is how, you know. There's no like, I guess, like, how were you feeling? Like, were you going to bed at night not sleeping? Were you like all good? Like, how was it?
Nah, to be honest, like again, I'm good at taking the emotion out of things like this, and not that I don't have empathy, because I do. I want to be a clinician. That's why I want to work in healthcare and that type of thing. But also, honestly, at some stage, and kind of even consulting and content and things like kind of becomes a bit of a game at some points. To be honest, where it's just like a challenge. I like challenges, so it's just problems to solve. Like there's a lot of responsibility and like far out again. I don't know how many people I've fired in my time and made redundant, and I don't like doing it, and it's hard every time. But it's just the thing is, like, no one's bigger than the business. Doesn't matter, even me, director, clinicians, whatever, anyone. No one's bigger than the business. So the business has to survive. So you do what you need to do to make it work.
Yeah. So when you finished up, when you were about to finish up and you thought to yourself, like, you know, you're bored of it, was Conway Consulting, like the consulting side of things, a part of this plan?
No, it wasn't. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. So like I had no idea,
Really?
to be honest. Yeah, like, so again, started 2020, 2024, what year? 2025. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Again, because again, that was so much my identity. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to. I didn't want to start my own allied health service business again, because I've kind of been there, done that. So I was like, do I go work for someone else? Do I go outside the sector? Do I start my own business? Again, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Applied for a few jobs and things.
Where'd you apply?
I can't remember, but like
were they like manager roles, I guess? And
exec level and that type of thing. And the thing is, like, pretty young and like don't have grey hair and so on. So like
you need that for those roles.
And for like the level of role that like I think I would do better than most people, like I guess I wouldn't get and kind of don't really want anyway. So and the thing is too, when you've ran your own business and had full control and autonomy, I kind of describe myself as unemployable. I was like, I don't know if I can work for someone else again. So yeah, it's kind of a bit lost and like didn't know what I wanted to do. And then someone suggested it to me. It was like, why don't you think of consulting? I never really thought about it before. And the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Where again, I say it's like I love helping people. I love solving problems. I love the allied health sector. And again, I'm good at the things that clinicians aren't good at. So system, leadership, business, growth, operations, all that type of thing. So basically it was like February last year, 2025. AI thankfully was out, where I just built my website over a weekend. I already had about 6,000 LinkedIn connections, I think. So just started posting, started cold DMing people, started like hustling to get leads and that type of thing. And
I think we messaged each other as well back then. And I was like, who's this? What was a business consultant? I was like, what a business consultant?
Well, I was worried that like, and again, I didn't know back then, so it was unknown. I don't think not many people really exist like me. I don't think there's any real consultants like me in allied health, really. So I was like, am I too niche? Like, is there a demand for the service I offer now? And it turns out I'm not, which is good. But it was very much the unknown. But it was kind of fun of starting a business, right?
You mentioned someone kind of suggested it to you, being a consultant. Who was around, like, I guess, because like you said, you are pretty like logical, pragmatic, like, like you're good at that.
Very.
So then not knowing what you wanted to do as well, or like not really kind of like figured out, who was around you to kind of like help you out with that? Or was it just all you kind of like figuring out that's going to be you?
Yeah, all me. Again, it's probably one of my flaws is like I don't really ask. Again, I'm not alone in this. Like I'm too proud and don't really ask for much help, and I probably should do it more even now. But my poor wife, Ange, generally, and I actually didn't think I was that much of a risk taker. Like, and again, upon reflection, I realized yes, I am. But like, it was just taking a huge risk and starting something with like going from, a good salary and like, job to like $0.
Yeah.
Was again.
And you had a kid as well around the time. Well, you would have been.
Yeah, he would have been about 18 months at that age.
Was that stressful?
Yeah, totally. Again, I'm
I'm
more
trying to get the emotions there.
I'm okay. Again, I'm ultra practical, so I'm okay. I was okay, but yeah, again, my poor wife, I think, gave her a few grey hairs. But yeah, again, you got to like business all about risk, right?
Absolutely,
so it was just that was part of the fun and thrill of it, is taking a risk and trying something new, and so on. So yeah, thought I'd give it a go, and if it didn't work, just go get a job somewhere else. So I had to.
Yep.
Yeah, here we are.
So what was the idea around Conway Consulting when you first started it? Like, what was the idea from it?
Yeah, again, I didn't really know because I didn't know what to charge, didn't know what service to offer, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I just thought, again, I guess back then it was more around like business coaching type stuff, but I stripped all that language off my website. I don't consider myself a business coach. Not there's anything wrong with that. It's just
What do you consider yourself as?
a consultant. So like I very much solve problems. So like I'll give you answers. So again, I would say in general, like not all, but like business coaching can be like, here's a framework, or here's a 5-step program, or here's here's it's like a formula. Whereas I don't have that. I will give you answers based on like your specific situation, and I'll solve your problems.
Right.
And again, more like what I really like is, I always say, the bigger the business, the bigger the problems. I love complex problems and so on. So
Yeah.
I guess I was figuring it out at that stage. My first year even was still like a bit of identity, and then I got to my 1 year mark and kind of redid my mission, or did my mission, my vision, that type of thing, and have a much clearer picture now. But I guess at the start it was identifying my own personal brand and all that type of stuff, which was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Posting on LinkedIn content. I'm very used to it now, but like back then, God, doing a post or articles, whatever, was very much outside my comfort zone.
Yeah. Talk a bit about that, because I mean, you said you had 6,000 LinkedIn followers, and I know me and you have a little conversation.
Are we 15,000? I think we're even. Yeah,
I think you're 15. I think I'm like 14.8 or something.
I think we're very close. I saw it the other day. Yeah.
So that's a huge amount of people to start following you in that short turnaround. Was content for you like I got to get into this area of the world?
No, it's a means to an end for me. I don't like it. Probably I'm more comfortable now, but I didn't like it back then. Like a lot don't, but it was a way to get my name out there, I guess. It was very much a means to generate leads and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had 6,000 followers because I didn't use LinkedIn beforehand, but like I used to add 100 people every week on LinkedIn to basically to help promote my old business. And even kind of through COVID, we used to we did a bit of content and things, and we'd like incentivize and have competitions around who get the most LinkedIn followers, grow the company page, views, all that type of thing. So it was, again, I was very much like behind. I didn't really go on it as much, but it was just, add more people every week so they see company updates and so on. So I had a base to start from, and then do a few posts, articles, that type of thing, and then just turns out like, I guess what I do a lot of, the term is called like newsjacking, and I have a bit of survivor's guilt about it, where I left that business, and then it's been the most challenging 18 months across allied health in my 10-year career, where NDIS reform, travel cut, support at home, blah, blah, blah. So like I'm filling that gap where like I'm the reform guy, where like news comes out, I help, say what it means in terms of, okay, here's the APR. What does it mean for allied health? I interpret it for people.
Yeah. You have been the translator for most, like, from like what the funding models are to what the changes are happening I think you explain it in a very simple form, right? And this is what they're saying in a 20-page document. You put it in a little snapshot. This is what it is, and I think you have become the go-to person in allied health for
the reform guy.
News. Yeah, the reform guy. Do you feel a bit of like a responsibility now because of that?
100%, and like honestly, it's part of the altruism behind, and my my mission and vision and things, and behind starting Conway Consulting Group is I wanted to build the sector's capability, where I've done things and have knowledge that others don't. And for example, my viral article early on, March last year, was like, why don't I get paid more? Which was talking about billable hours, like 44 weeks, how much revenue clinicians generate, why people don't get, why can't I get paid 200 grand if I bill that much, all that type of thing. So yeah, a lot of it was, a lot of my altruism and content is around like sort of leveling everyone up, hopefully, and even in the playing field and so on. And then to answer your question in terms of responsibility, yeah, I do. So like, again, and I don't mind it. And again, it's sort of what makes me like, feel good about myself or whatever. I complain about it where, let's say the APR comes out and I'm like, oh, I gotta write an article, and like, I'm grumpy and whinging about it. And like, I'm grumpy because I have to write an article. Whereas again, for all the participants, it's so much more consequential for all the providers and participants and so on out there.
Sure.
So again, I say that like facetiously, I guess, where again, I have to write an article, which is what I'm complaining about, whereas it affects everyone else's livelihoods. So I do feel a responsibility to, if a big bit of reform content comes out, I need to get something out the next day because that's what people expect of me.
Yeah.
But that's also part of my brand, and I'll happily do it. I don't care. It sort of makes me feel good where let's say the APR came out, I reckon I spent like 6 hours that night writing my article or whatever.
Wow.
But then it makes me feel good that I put in 6 hours, but I can make the sector's life a bit easier, So that's how I can contribute.
No, it's a really good point. You've been in the profession for like now 10 years. You've been a leader in the profession for pretty much 10 years as well, because you technically
9 years, I'd say, yeah.
9 years, right? So, how's your approach to leadership changed over that time? I guess, and personally and professionally. Yeah,
good question. So I've reflected on it more now being solo, and I don't lead anyone anymore. I guess I say I'm a leader within the sector, but I don't have any reports. But yeah, I was always a natural leader, so it came easy to me. So like I didn't really think about it or reflect on it or have to like grow my leadership skills per se. And I sort of always took it for granted, and I never really listened to like, again, there's lots of great stuff out there, but I never really listened to leadership books or content or whatever. I just sort of figured it out as I went and was pretty good at it. It's only now that like I'm solo now and I reflect on my own leadership and I teach other people about their leadership that I realize how hard it is, and then also how like I think leadership in allied health is like underappreciated, undersupported, and like not definitely that great. So I still like, even in through all my content and things, I don't really I kind of find like some of the leadership stuff a bit cringe or generic sometimes, where it's I don't know. So anyway, again, because what helped me grow it was I was a physio running a team of, I think physio was like our 6th biggest discipline. So like I manage more speechies, OTs, psychs, PBS, dietitians, and so on. So I stayed in my lane of like operational support or like non-clinical support, which is what I was better at anyway. No one wants to come to me for clinical supervision or anything like that. So yeah, sort of I had to, again, all my initial staff were like, I'm managing them. I'm not a speechy, I'm not an OT, I can't help you with that, sorry, but I can help you with all the other stuff. So yeah, I guess that's what helped me grow it. And cool. I'm a big advocate of these days of like, you need to split clinical leadership and like, non-clinical operational leadership and so on.
And do you think that's, I guess in your consulting, is that what you tell people to do as well? Yeah.
100%, split them. Can be the same person, but it needs to be protected time for both. Yeah. Clinical supervision needs to be protected, safe place, that type of thing. KPIs, caseload, blah, blah, anything non-clinical, separate.
Yeah. What does success look like? Because success is obviously different to everyone, right? So what does it look like for you?
Yeah, good question. So I'm actually not that money driven, to be honest. Like even now, Conway Consulting Group, like I work way harder, make much less money, but it's more fun and more rewarding, I guess. So it doesn't bother me. So yeah, success for me, it does mean like making a difference. Again, I feel good, if I can like, again, help the sector like level up a little bit or like interpret things a bit differently in certain ways. So yeah, I like helping people on a sort of, sector-wide scale, let's say. And then I love I love solving problems. So like that makes me feel good where people come to me with really complex problems, business problems, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The more complex, the better. And I love thinking about how I can solve it.
Do you think, when you look at starting at AHP, was success money? And like, was it a different success for you then?
No, I still like helping people, making a difference, that type of thing. That's why
that's always been the...
Yeah, that's why I wanted to be a clinician, Like, again, I've never really... Again, I don't think anyone should. Like, I'm always... You shouldn't go into healthcare if you want to be a schoolie there because there's not much money here. So, that's why I'm always...
Because the two businesses are so different. in that sense, right? Like you said, you scaled a business to 300 people and revenue of 15 mil, and then your next business is no one, and like more of like a lifestyle business and helping. So they're so different in so many different ways, right? And then you're saying that the core of both of them, technically for you, was
helping people. Yeah. And again, I love, like, for example, particularly with AHP, like I hyper focus like on my team. So I loved giving clinicians like a good job, career progression, supporting them in their growth. That gave me, it's what I miss the most actually. And I need to think about how to do that again. It's not just one person now, but like I miss, like now I only talk to business owners, which is great, love them all. But like there's a gap for me is helping those like clinicians who aren't business owners and so on. I need to think about how to do that one day. But again, I only have so much time. I still need to make a living. It's about, that's cool. I like helping people. I like solving problems, and probably, again, I said, I don't earn as much money now, let's say, but in terms of what is potentially more valuable, doesn't mean money in my pocket right now is, I didn't have a very good network in my old business because I was everyone's competitor, and we, Andrea works for you now. We poached anyone and everyone. So like if I was I didn't really go to many at the end, but if I was in a networking event and there's other allied health directors in there, probably poach staff from all of them, It was very like stuck within my own four walls. Whereas now the most valuable thing I do now is building my network. So like, again, a saying I'm a big fan of is your network's your net worth. So
That's a good one.
Building my network now and just being able to talk to anyone and everyone is really cool. So that's, probably been one of the most, value rather than like revenue, let's say.
No, that's really interesting. Really cool. What would your advice be to someone listening right now to know a bit about your career and what you could give on their journey as well?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I would say like, don't be scared to take a risk. Easy to say, but like, again, clinicians are risk averse. People, which I totally get, but sometimes you've got to risk it to get the biscuit. So I think, being willing to take a risk and then try something new. So again, I think, a lot of clinicians want like their, I want to be OT who does, 12 to 16-year-olds, very specific, some really niche thing, which is totally fine. And if that's what you want to spend your whole life doing, that's totally fine. Or I just want to be a pediatric speech. That's all I want to do, that type of thing. I think I would say like be open to trying new things, because sort of the further you get into your career, the harder it is to pivot. And again, this is why even sort of a recruitment strategy for my old business was I didn't really recruit many experienced staff because, again, NDIS was booming. And let's say you had a clinician with loads of experience somewhere else. They wanted the salary, but they didn't have the experience in your sector. So it's hard I would say, particularly why early career, try different things because one, it's easy to pivot and you don't know, there might be things you haven't tried that could be good. So for example, one of my best OTs ever employed, she came from residential aged care, and usually myself, most clinicians from residential aged care trying to do NDIS really struggled because of the complexity of that type of thing. But she went from oldies to being a phenomenal pediatric clinician because she tried something new, had to take a risk, that type of thing. So same thing with business too. You need to take calculated risks. Again, business is all about risk management, but if you don't take any risks, you're not going to, you might not be able to grow to what you want to, which is totally fine. Maybe the other bit of advice I needed to take this myself was get advice from other people. So again, I think clinicians in general, me included, because they're like high achievers, perfectionists, have always like, done really well in high school, uni, that type of thing, can be like really proud and like don't want to ask for help. So even for, new grads, for example, like the best new grads asked loads of questions and were like, were willing to get things wrong and own up to it. Whereas the ones who struggled a bit were the ones who were like, clinicians don't want to seem dumb and don't want to seem like they don't know what they're doing because they're used to being experts and successful at things. So be vulnerable, ask for help. I need to listen to that myself.
That's great. When you look back on your career, and I mean, this is, you're still young, so you got like a long time of work as well.
Long,
maybe you don't. Maybe you're going to retire real soon. But like, what do you want? I guess, what do you want Trystan Conway to be like, kind of remembered as in the industry?
Yeah, I do want to have made a difference to the allied health sector. Like, I want to have built the sector's capability somehow, directly or indirectly. Again, what I think allied health, like at the moment, particularly, is like super undervalued. Like we're not valued by the general public, taxpayers, government, that type of thing. So yeah, I would love to have kind of my vision is to have made a difference somehow. Yeah, make the sector a better place, more sustainable, more valued, better working conditions, that type of thing, and lofty goals. And I got to think about how to do it and how to get there. But
okay. I was going to ask that. How do you want to do it? But no,
I got some ideas and things. Again, it's smallish scale right now, I guess. But I'd love to have made a difference, which I think I already have in some ways to
definitely
allied health. Again,
no,
you notice I always say allied health in general. I'm a physio, but like I consider myself discipline agnostic. All allied health disciplines. So yeah, I would like to have made a difference somehow, make it a better, more sustainable place with higher value for all clinicians in Australia.
I love
Maybe
that.
across the world, we'll see.
Across the world, gee, going international. How good's that? Mate, last one. So Real Rebel, everyone by 2030 in allied health will be sole traders.
Funny. I actually think Rebel, we're at a time where, again, charge rates are flat, salaries and things are going up. So at some point, and again, we were speaking about this before, let's say team leader salaries or full-time salaries, they're kind of flat at the moment. They're not really growing because the charge rates aren't going up, so business can't afford them. So I think more people are pivoting into sole traders and subcontracting, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I actually think what, let's say, the government wants is they want to go the opposite direction where, so again, NDIS, 300,000 unregistered providers, total wild west. The government wants a bit more control and want things to consolidate. So I actually think, maybe short term, let's say by 2027, 2028, there might be more sole traders than there are now. But I think in general, we're actually going the other way. We're going towards consolidation. So
you think there might be a bit of a dip? Maybe we're heading towards sole traders now with the graph, but then at some point it's going to go bang.
Correct, because commission services, panels, not-for-profits, public health, for example. I think some of the foundational supports, Thriving Kids and things will be done via the public system. So whether that's a good or bad thing, I think the amount of sole trading that happens in allied health is not a good thing for the sector because, again, you can earn more, but like a clinician in their second year out being a sole trader, I totally get it. You want to earn, but you sort of not, you don't have much support. You're not ready. Again, the career journey is where to from there. I think, false, maybe short term for sure. More people are going to do it, but I think the allied health sector will consolidate.
Yeah. Shout out Brendan. Good post, mate. Really good. Trystan, thank you so much for joining Rebel Radio. Like I said, your story is fascinating. It's so interesting to actually hear the background of your story, not just like the LinkedIn posts and everything, and getting to know you a bit more as a person. So thanks, mate. Really appreciate all your time.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me.